Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our third webinar of our Chai Science Diplomacy webinar series. My name is Samrat Kumar. I work for Your Access India. And as you know, we are trying every now and then to give you a bit of more of an insight into Europe and India cooperation in research innovation through the lens and the perspective of a science diplomat from Europe who is living in India. And it's my great pleasure that today our guest is a dear colleague and friend, Massimo Spadoni, scientific attaché at the Embassy of Italy in New Delhi. Namaste, ciao Massimo.
Namaste, Samrat. And
it's really
namaste to all the audience.
It's a real pleasure to have you with us. And we know you just returned from Italy after your summer vacation, summer break, and then you were here with us, and that makes it even more nice for us to have this chat with you sitting at your home or office in Delhi.
I'm at home now, yeah. This is my office at home.
Beautiful, beautiful paintings, and I like very much the statue of Buddha next to you. So, Massimo, let's go straight into our talk. And I hope you have brought your cup of tea, but you are Italian, so I hope you brought both tea and coffee.
Chai and espresso, both with
bravo,
me.
Bravo, bravo. True India-Italian cooperation, I would say already here. So, Massimo, tell us a bit about yourself, please, like your background, your previous work, and also that led to your current position as a scientific attaché here in India.
Well, Samrat, first of all, let me thank you for inviting me to this webinar series. And I know that you are doing a great job. I'm not telling it to you because we are friends, but because I really believe and I can see the success that you are having with this initiative and many others that you are carrying out and you carried out during these years. About me, I was born in Rieti. It's a small town in central Italy, in the middle of an Apennine mountain range, not far from Rome, 1.5 hours from Rome, far from Rome. I was born in a house near a small local railway, and in the middle of mountains, rivers, lakes, forests. And when I grew up, I decided to go to Rome to study geology at La Sapienza University in Rome. And after a short family break, during which I worked in my family bookshop, I took my master's degree. And after that, fellowships at the Italian Institute of Soil Sciences, where I learned how to identify the complex structure and geochemical structure of soils and how to map it in a modern way, which is not simply coloring a blank piece of paper, a blank topographic map, but how to create a geographical database. From there, I moved to the National Research Council as a researcher. And the University of Rome, where I studied, asked me to give lessons on geographic information system, which I did for many years. And then I moved to isotope geochemistry, environmental geochemistry, and many projects, international projects, Argentina, Madagascar, China, and India. And when I reached India, it was 2004. It was like when you see yourself in a mirror, you discover some hidden part of yourself that you were not aware of. There is an Italian novelist, Pirandello, who built a great story on this. And it was for me like recognize myself. I created a sort of long network, a great strong network in India, and especially in West Bengal, Nagpur, Niri Institute. And finally, when the position opened at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, applied, I have been selected to be the scientific attaché, which I started in 2016. And this is my story from the small local railway in Rieti to one of the largest megacities in the world. You are muted there, Samrat.
Thank you. Wonderful story. And I had the privilege to meet you both in New Delhi and also in Rieti.
That's true.
And it was a very nice, because I have friends nearby in Terni, which I know is different from Rieti now. And it was so a nice encounter, I remember, because you just came, I was at friend's place and you came at 11 in the night, you know, and they welcomed you and we had a coffee, we had a nice chat and everything. And it was so like similar to what happens in India, right? Like you can knock at a person's door at any time, you can come in and you're always welcome. So I always have these nice memories of you. I know both of your places, your Delhi and Rieti as well. But also we wanted to know a bit, Massimo, about your background as a scientist as you said, in geochemistry. And you also actually visited India, as you mentioned, already in 2004. So how was that, you know, as a researcher, like your, you know, the time as a researcher? Can you tell us about that, your time in India as a researcher?
Well, I started with soil chemistry. You know, when you have to characterize a soil, you have to study a huge amount of variables, of chemical and physical variables. At the end, you have a large number of samples with a even larger number of variables in a matrix which is extremely difficult to decodify. And this was my first challenge as a researcher. It's like in your life, no? You have to face a complex society, like in India. India's society is quite complex. Life is quite challenging sometimes. And you have to find the right variable inside yourself that drives you into the difficulties of your ordinary life. If we translate, where do you take this variable? From your experience, your personal experience, which allows you to live better and to overpass the difficulties of ordinary life. And if we translate this concept into science, where shall we take the right variables to drive us into this complex matrix of data? Inside statistics and multivariate statistics, which allows you to mathematically identify the variables which drive you into the identification of soils and the similarities and the potentialities of soils. This was my first approach, and then I moved this approach into mapping, identifying how these variables can be displayed, because you don't record the variables everywhere. You have to put together the data into a map that can be provided to the user, to the final user. And to do this, again, your experience in mathematics is geostatistics, how to interpolate data, display them in the proper way when required. And finally, the last step, isotopes. Isotopes that are elements, same elements, different weight. Different weight means different physical process evaporations and oxidations and speed of reactions. And they can be used as traces for the most important environmental processes like water pollution, water recharge, and erosion. This is my story as a researcher. And I tried to bring this experience. Actually, I didn't bring the experience. I also got a lot of important colleagues that helped me a lot in developing this research lines here in India. In an India that in 2004 was quite different from today. I would say is that it was quite impossible to ask for a non-spicy food in a restaurant. They not even understand what you are saying sometimes. And today it's quite normal, obviously, it's quite normal. But I have a good memory of West Bengal, rural areas where I started to work with my colleague and on biodiversity, on sacred groves as a repository of biodiversity, not only natural biodiversity, but also cultural biodiversity.
Great, very interesting. And of course, I'm coming from the humanities. So for me, of course, all these terms you just used, I have to maybe look at the dictionary. to understand, but it was really very good. And also,
Sorry.
No, but
science cannot be simplified too much, otherwise it becomes risky, but I tried my best.
No, it was very good. And I'm sure that our attendees, most of them understood it. And what I was really curious about to know from you, Massimo, was that how your experience as a researcher and scientist, how it has helped and inspired you with your current position as a scientific attaché. Could you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, Samrat, to be a good researcher, you need to have basically two qualities. The first one is curiosity. Curiosity about the unknown. And the second one is to be capable to do a very strong and systematic analytic work. If you have both this quality, you will certainly become a good researcher. So you have to learn how to study the problem. You have to learn to listen to the other opinions, the opinions of the other people, of the other scientists. And you have to identify the reliable variables which drive you into an unknown field. Well, this approach was for me extremely useful in my current job as a scientific attaché. I already knew how to listen to the people, especially when you have to face such a different cultural background. No, a world as a continent like India, no, so diverse, and let's say sometimes so difficult to approach. No, avoid to speak first. First approach to listen to the others, to understand their cultural background with curiosity, with respect. And India, it's a land of social challenges. So you have a lot to learn, a lot to study, a lot to go in depth. And I'm curious. So I'm curious about the world around me. And this attitude inspired me a lot for my job as a scientific attaché.
Very true. I think this is a very good, insight you're giving, as a scientist, how you have to also always value and check the opinion of the others and how you approach a problem and how you find solutions. I think that helps, of course, a lot if you're working with scientists and research and you have your own scientist background. And now coming to, you were talking about challenges, but we were very much interested also to know your view on the cooperation and research innovation between Italy and India during your time here. What have been the success, you would say, and what have been the challenges you faced? And could you maybe a bit enlighten us about this the cooperation between India and Italy in research and innovation?
I arrived in India in 2016, July 2016. It was Italy and India were at the end of a very long diplomatic crisis, which had nearly destroyed every kind of official cooperation between these two countries. And basically, so we had a very important agreement with India, with the Department of Science and Technology on a cooperation in science and technology. The agreement was stuck, and we had a sort of reinvent it and relaunch it at the same time on new basis, because we had to face the challenges of the new digital era, the new challenges of innovation that came out during the last years. You know what I'm talking about. There is a very fast change of perspectives, possibilities, or needs for the humanity, and a different sensitivity that luckily on the environment that luckily developed during the last years. So starting from this old, let's say quite old, previous scientific agreement, I tried and I found a wonderful cooperation from the Indian colleagues that I want to really thank my colleague from Department of Science and Technology, and with a wonderful secretary, Professor Ashutosh Sharma, who certainly been extremely available for supporting the renewal of this initiative, of this bilateral initiative. And we tried to put together a new executive program, selecting the strategical lines of the bilateral cooperation, and at the same time, putting some more inside the agreement. We identified the strategic lines: health, environment, cultural heritage, natural disasters, and also we added some more: industrial R&D, innovation forums, bilateral workshops. Honestly, I cannot say it has been a hard work, because I had a wonderful response from the Indian side. So we went along together and we launched a new executive program in 2017, which was the basis of the current cooperation between Italy and India. And then we had another important event, which was the Indo-Italian Technology Summit, during which the two prime ministers decided to join to speak each other about science and technology. And we had 8 wonderful sessions on all the most important field of sciences, from space technology and space exploration to cultural heritage to medical sciences to circular economy. We spoke a lot, and on the side of this event, we finally had a joint committee meeting and relaunching again for the future, new ideas, new program, all together. Always find the core, the right contact point between the Italian and Indian needs. It's not a hard job if you have the real will to listen to the others and to dialogue with your counterpart. Let me say another important thing that I pursued during these years: cooperation with the European delegation in New Delhi, and I stimulated a lot the Italian research institutes and university to submit their proposal for the Horizon 2020 program, which is of paramount importance if we really want to create a steady and strong cooperation, even at a bilateral level, because the Horizon 2020 program has been of paramount importance in funding strategic and important and high level and let's say rich research on key topics like water resources, like energy, like medical sciences, vaccines. So this is part. I have to thank a lot all the staff, including yourself and Tanya and Vivek from the European Union, for having built this possibility during these fantastic years of cooperation.
Thank you so much, Massimo. I have been following your incredible work, and also the Technology Summit was kind of really a great highlight. And we know how much you put your efforts and energy behind that. And it really great things came out of this cooperation. And also, thank you also for mentioning the collaboration with the EU delegation. I think here in Delhi, we have quite a very good, nice kind of, science counselor family, where we really support each other, and especially the member states and Italy have really done a lot to promote also the possibilities on the Horizon 2020 between Europe and India. But we want to know, like, Massimo, you didn't face any challenges in your work in fostering the collaboration. You have told us now about really great success stories, but has there been like a particular challenge which you would like to mention? Or
I think for all of us, the great challenge is bureaucracy. So ideas can flow freely from your mind, but then they have to, they stop in front of a wall, which is called bureaucracy. And this is not only with India, this is only with Italy, obviously. So stimulating responsive dialogue between Italy and India has been quite a challenge for these years. Not always easy. I remember when I firstly suggested my ministry to invest money in this R&D program, industrial R&D program, they not even were listening to me, just saying, no, we have no money, not just, next time. No, just well, it's important. And then launching the calls, which date, when, where, respecting the deadlines. Yeah, plenty of challenges. I think the greatest challenges is not in the mind of the persons that I contacted, but especially for this bureaucratic aspect, which is in a way implicit in our job. Yes.
Yeah. And it's, as you said, it's not only unique to India, it's also something which one can experience in Italy as well. Also, of course, in other countries, the bureaucratic hurdles, which often, as you said, there are great ideas, but there are some barriers because of the bureaucracy. Yeah, let's move to another part of your life, work life here, is that what are you seeing is the road ahead now when it comes to collaboration, research, innovation between India and Europe, and in particular, of course, India, Italy? Like, you've been here now 5 years and you have a very good understanding overview, but where are you seeing, what are the trends? Where will the collaboration go between India and Europe in the coming years?
So we are now in the phase of the renewal of this executive program of cooperation in science and technology. And we wanted to do more, to add more components. I think one component that an important component that we added, inspired by the example of the European Union, is to create, we are going to create network of excellence. Similarly to the examples of Horizon 2020 program, 3 Italian entities and 3 Indian entities will come together on strategic research lines in order not to create just a single project which involves 2 components and that will probably expire with the end of the funding, but in order to create a wider network of components, including industries inside, that will be self-sustained even at the end of the funding after 3 years. And so we selected some strategic possibility for this network of excellence. I already told you about technologies for cultural heritage. We represent Italy. So this is the topic, let's say, and technologies for cultural heritage are so complex and so diverse and so innovative that has to be brought along with the Indian colleagues in this country where there is a lot to do, especially for cultural heritage. You know better than me the potentiality of this country, and we maybe can give a little bit of experience. And again, medical sciences, vaccines, the topic, or environment, geological and natural hazards in general. We are associated, unfortunately, we are associated with India in the presence of geological hazards, earthquakes, landslides, flooding. So we have a lot to share, a lot of experience also to share in this field. In fact, we developed also a series of agreements in these sectors. So this network of excellence is something that where we want to invest a lot of our energy. And the next program, Horizon Europe, and obviously implementing these innovation forums. We already had one. Innovation forum means bring innovative startups and companies to the same table from India and Italy and let them speak together on specific topics in order to find possibilities to work together.
That sounds very interesting. And this network of excellence, Massimo, when are you planning to launch that? Is that going to happen soon? Or?
We are now selecting the proposals. So they are going to be launched the beginning of 2022.
Okay, that's great. And
February.
Sounds very exciting. And also, of course, this cultural heritage aspect, which you were mentioning, you know, Italy has such a rich background also on preserving heritage, and India is also a country with so much, culture and heritage. And if those 2 countries can come together and use technology as a means, you know, to preserve, and I think that's a fantastic. I'm really following that also. It's also a personal interest in in heritage projects. So that's good to hear that, you have been working on that also. Talking about culture, talking about heritage, and that of course implies Massimo also is a traveler. And he's been in India, as he told us already, in 2004, and I think maybe also after. And then 2016, he came here in his position. And you have traveled to many parts of India, and some parts we have traveled together. What would you say were the most memorable places and experiences you had? I'm sure there are many, but maybe you could just highlight a few for us.
You already mentioned the European regional tour where we were together. We were together in a fantastic group, and we had really memorable experiences of work together, presenting our bilateral and multilateral opportunities with you, with Tanya and Vivek. We organized amazingly these tours, but with many other colleagues of the other member states, Srinivas Kaveri from CNRS, Inger Mikendal from Norway, and many others that were with us, and we shared a really memorable time. But going to a more, let's say, personal point of view, I think you are also interested in this. If you ask me what are the memorable experiences that I had in India or traveling in India, you won't have as an answer Taj Mahal or Rajasthan. No, that's not for me. I am more interested in deeper experience personally. So I don't know, I may mention to you traveling in the forest of Odisha, and at the feet of Nilgiri Mountains, where the tribal people perceive that mountain or that forest as God. I'm not talking resemble or the abode of a God, but the mountain itself and the forest is like a God. So it gives you the perception that you are really alive, that there is still a link between our inner part and the Mother Earth. This earth that we didn't treat like a mother, but like a slave during the last centuries. And so that's an amazing experience in the forest of Odisha, like it was an amazing experience to be pilgrim among pilgrims while climbing up to the Kedarnath sanctuary, being with thousands of young people, old people, and their handicapped people. Everybody wanted to reporters, Sherpas, everybody want to reach the top to touch with their hands in the magnificence of the scenery, to touch to have the darshan of Shiva, and which is the fulfillment of one life, no? And to be part of this process, to be part of this great procession, great pilgrimage is something that certainly marks you from inside. Let me say one thing, last thing, Samrat. You remember, probably everybody have read the fantastic book of Edward Foster, A Passage to India. And there is a lady who enters a cave, and enters a cave in India, and then inside the cave there is nothing, but she can better perceive herself, and she's also got scared, and she escapes after being in that cave, but what's inside that cave? There is the reflection of their innermost part. Traveling to the Ajanta caves and looking at the faded paintings on the wall that thousands of years ago, hundreds of monks had painted after carving stone after stone. That mountain, it's an experience that put yourself in front of your history, in front of the memories of your past. And like Simone Weil and French philosopher used to say at the beginning of the 19th century, we are nothing else than the summation of our history, of our past. We have the result, the final result of the previous generation. And so this is the experience that India left to me during my trips. I have many other things to say, but I think it will take too much.
Very, very beautiful. Thank you for this, personal insight also. And I think you would agree with me that there's no place like where the sacred and the profane meet so deeply like in India, and where many people make a very personal experiences with like where nature is still worshipped, and considered as something divine. And there are so many pilgrim sites, and all coexist. We have a very modernized country, but we have also a very deep cultural country, and it's coexisting, and it's interlinking, and there are a lot of synergies. And I think that really touches when you're traveling, as you said, it really touches a personal part of us also. And of course, we worked a lot. We were traveling, and I remember also we went to some very nice, cultural and temple sites together, and it's all, you can all combine it here in India. That's the beauty, I think, of this country, where everything is in a coexisting flow. And yeah, Massimo, now we're coming to another part which makes us a bit sad, because I think many of the colleagues also here attending today, we know that you're soon ending your position here in India, and soon you will go back to Italy. And we know for what reasons also, and very understandable. But we wanted to know, like, what are the learning experiences you will bring back to your work in Europe after spending so many years here in India? And what can Italy, in your opinion, and Europe in general, learn from India?
There is, I don't know if you know this poetry from Greek poet, Konstantinos Kafafis. The poetry is entitled Ithaca. Ithaca is the story of a journey of a man who travels decades, decades to reach home. And when he reaches home, he discovers that the real treasure is not the home itself, but the real treasure is the journey. So the destination of the journey is the journey itself. And this is a lesson that I can definitely embrace, because I'm not going to my final destination, my following destination. During this year, I had this treasure of having traveled in India and to have learned a lot from my colleagues, from the difficulties, from my friends, from everybody, from this very complex interaction with the Indian society. I told you before, India is the land of social challenges. If you succeed in facing with success these challenges in India, then you are ready to face them all over the world. So problems are many, and this is extremely stimulating. This experience of having seen such a huge variety of challenges, and how all colleagues, all people, all Indian, even common people try to face the challenges with their cultural background, but also with bringing innovation, which is a wise innovation, which is not innovation per se. I always say, the real innovation is not in the technology. The real innovation is first in your brain. This is an innovative way of thinking. And I've been trained over these years to think in an innovative way, and then after that, bring the technological innovation, try to bring the innovation. So only technology, you cannot do anything. Just you need a new way of thinking, of approaching the societal challenges, which are huge. I bring this experience with me, and I think that Europe, the whole Europe, can learn from the complexity of the challenges in India. Europe is also a complex system. We are so many member states, a similar number than the Indian states. I'm saying obvious things, but the dialogue is sometimes difficult between the member states. You know, there are some points which are not easy to solve. No, like in India, and facing this complexity, this social complexity, even bringing innovative way of thinking for a better way of living, for sustainability. This is a challenge. This way, this is a model. It is a sort of a model for Europe for this, in this sense.
Yeah, that's
this is my opinion.
I think a very sound opinion and totally, you know, valid. And I would see it in a very similar way than you, that, you know, this social innovation, which is here in India, it's just incredible how people find solutions to problems here, you know, and we sometimes, people who lived in the West, you know, we would just, you know, give up and say, okay, it's not possible. But here, you know, there's always a way. And so it's nice that you shared this experience, which you also would like to bring back to, or you will bring back to Italy, and that's really a nice. And Massimo, last question before we also, I will ask some of the audience and some of your colleagues also to you know, ask you some questions. It's like you will come back to India, right? This is not a it's a arrivederci, you know. It's like we're gonna see you again here, right?
So you are asking me if I want to come back home?
Great.
I can.
You will, yeah. Yeah, that's wonderful to hear.
Yes. Second home, I cannot delete this possibility from my future. I'll be here. I'll be here again.
Yeah, and Rieti, Delhi, these are the places, no?
Yeah, that's all. So close.
So close. So no. Nice. Great, Massimo. Let's bring the audience a bit into, and you know, see what they want to know. And we have some serious questions and some maybe less serious, but we start with one which I think is very interesting. So Massimo, could you mention us with one Indian dish you really like to eat for breakfast?
This is the serious question. Yeah, it's actually extremely serious. Indian dish for breakfast. I don't want to disappoint anyone at breakfast. I personally, yeah, you know, the Italian breakfast is made of espresso and croissant. Yeah. This is typical Italian breakfast. Here, there is a totally different style. I try to adapt myself. But all this spicy food for me for breakfast is quite impossible to manage. So I went on with the espressos as well. Even after all these years in India, I couldn't eat this
dosa,
breakfast.
Puri chole for breakfast.
Puri chole.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. So another, I think, a very interesting question, because you kind of touched upon, you know, this subject. So one of the attendees is asking, Massimo, according to you, what is the relationship between spirituality and science?
In 2 minutes. Close relation. If we interpret, if we talking about spirituality, we don't have to mean something which is beyond science. In many different religions, there is the main questions: is God beyond science, is above physics or not, or within physics? Maybe possible answers is that God is physics, and if God is everywhere, physics is God. Spirituality is not to imagine something which is beyond what we can technically understand. And this very scientific way of thinking is very common in Buddhism. Actually, it's the basis of Buddhism, where you, through your meditation, rationality, and analytical knife, like another American philosopher Pirsig used to say, an analytical knife in your mind. You cut all the pieces of reality and you try to analyze it objectively. And then that becomes your spirituality. And you see that it's a new world opens to you if you are really open to a new world.
Nicely said, very nicely said. Yeah, as you said, this could take another, we would have to do another chai session with you to debate more about the relationship between science and spirituality. And I think you would be the ideal guest for that. And I would really, but maybe we can do this over a coffee when we see each other the next time. But let us continue with.
For this, we need at least 2 coffees. And yes, it's one of my favorite topics. So we can.
And one meditation session together and 2 coffees. And then I think we would. Okay. So this now we come like really to a more scientific question to you. Are there any visiting research programs or grants between India and Italy, like especially for researchers in science and technologies? Is there anything right now open call for like to visit Italian universities? Is there anything, or do you have a website where we could refer our attendees to?
I told we are under the renewal of the executive program of science and technology cooperation. And so it means that the call has been just closed. And we received a huge amount of proposal with respect to the previous years. I don't know if it's for the COVID situation, which stimulates to look for different opportunities and new funding sources, or because of effective action promotion in India. I don't know, but we received a lot. It demonstrates that there is a lot of interest in bilateral cooperation. And we have received proposals both for mobility of researchers. We provide a quite good funding scheme of short-term, long-term mobility. But for long-term, we mean 1 month. Like this is 1 month, or shorter mobility, which is quite good for 2 research groups of 2 different universities to start a dialogue for 3 years. We also provide funding for what we call significant projects, which means the project will have 30,000, 40,000 euros per year to carry out their initial research for 3 years, and in order to strengthen their link. And then also we have just closed the call for the network of excellence, which are much better funded. And then we have a lot of expectation on this new possibility. So the next possibility will probably be the new industrial R&D call that we are carrying out along with the DST and the GITA organization in India, maybe next year.
Okay, great. And can we, is there a website where we could find all this information, Massimo? Maybe you could put it on the chat or something?
All information are provided by the website of our embassy.
Okay, of the Italian embassy in Delhi.
And DST, because DST is currently, I forgot to say one thing when you asked me about the future challenges and future perspective. Italy did a lot during these years when I was here, but we have to do more. And new agreement, new cooperation agreement, especially with the Department of Biotechnology, are still missing. And we have to go in that direction, because biotechnological sciences are of paramount importance, especially in these days. And another very responsive ministry is the Ministry of Earth Sciences. And so since I already mentioned the natural disasters, we need to go in that direction as well. So create new agreement along with this ministry as well.
That will be then your successor's work, I suppose.
I suppose. I hope to be part of this process as well.
Unless you have a magic
come over again, and then we'll do it.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Massimo, we have a question from a dear colleague, and I would prefer not to read that question. I would actually prefer that person to come on. And it's Monsieur Srini Kaveri. So, Monsieur, if you like, I made you now a panelist, so you could ask your question directly yourself to our Massimo.
Oh, namaskar, Massimo. What a pleasure seeing you here. Do you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, I hear you, but I have a question for you. When will you come back?
Soon. The ticket is booked. I'm almost there. My suitcase is ready. You will see me, okay, whether you want it or not. I hope you will want. Now, your answers, your discourse was so elegant, just like you. So pleasant, so elegant, so philosophical, and so poetic. You are a great guy. I mean, I will miss you forever. I will really, really miss you. That's, how can I express? But, I can never be as spiritual, as philosophical, as elegant as you are, but I am a very silly boy. You know me. We have had a beautiful experience traveling all over the country. Can you think of, this is a very silly question, can you think of a very funny or an embarrassing situation that you ever encountered during your last few years? If you don't, then I will help you.
You help me.
If you can't answer that, I will help you, of course, because this is not a catch. Because we have traveled so much together that we did encounter some funny situations, interesting situations.
I don't know. I remember maybe many evening we spent together, many dinner we spent together, joking and commenting on, and so it's such a great. I had such a great time with you, with Vivek, with Samrat, and Tanya as well. There are many others, and so it's very difficult to pick up one of them. Maybe you have something in your mind. I know you. So
yeah, I have two things in mind, but one is not embarrassing or funny. One is a beautiful concert, private concert that we had in Dharwad.
That's not embarrassing at all.
Private concert of a sitarist, an elderly person, almost 90, and his young son. And it was a very, spiritual experience, as you can call it. Okay.
I am grateful to you, Srini, because
you don't
everything for us. And it was one of the best experience I had during this regional tour. And this private concert with this elegant, skillful, unique artist in Karnataka, which is your land, which is your home. And let me say, Srini, I'm not saying this because I already mentioned you before, so you know I'm serious, extremely serious. It has been a privilege to be in so many parts of India with you and with Vivek. I mentioned you two, only you two, because you are Indian. And to be in Indian with colleagues, which are Indians, opens a lot of doors of knowledge that for a foreigner like me are technically impossible to open. So this great privilege I had for you, and I will keep the memory of these trips with you forever. And we are friends, we are birds of the same feather, as you say.
We'll flock together. But I don't want to monopolize the microphone. Just one embarrassing or funny experience, and then I will leave for other questions. Samrat, you may have other.
Then we'll mute you immediately.
I'm sure you will do that. This was one of those beautiful afternoons. We worked a lot, and then we had a meeting, and then we were in Arunachal Pradesh, and we started walking on those edges of the rice or the paddy fields. We keep on walking and walking and walking, and we get lost. The night is falling, and there's dusk, and it is getting dark, and then we are lost. Water all over, paddy fields all over. The only place that we can walk is on the ridge, and there is no edge, there is no end. Where do we go? And we were stuck. And then we try to find a way out, and the only way out is to jump the wall, jump the fence, and then being chased by the dogs, and then find the civilization back. that for me, I have pictures of that. I hope I could show you one day. But this was one of the interesting and funny experience. I think you enjoyed that too.
Memorable, yeah, unique.
Setu.
Srini, you have a picture of that?
Yeah, I'll try to get it and show if possible.
Not be a picture of Srini trying to cross a fence in a way, very difficult.
If I find me before the end, because we still have 8 minutes, you go ahead with the questions to others, and I will try to find the picture and then share it with you if you allow me.
Great, and we also thank you so much, Srini, for coming in. It's always a pleasure and a fun to have you. And we also Indranil from the Swiss Embassy.
You are muted.
Sorry, Indranil also wanted to say something to you from the Swiss Embassy.
Hi, Indranil.
Hi, Massimo. No question for you, but just to say, been a pleasure knowing you. I understand you are here till the end of the year, so we will have occasion to meet. Actually, I do have a question for you. What's your big hurry to leave? Your predecessors all stayed for 8 years or more.
Sorry, I didn't get to Indranil.
I said, what is your big hurry to leave? Your predecessors stayed for 8 years or more each.
Actually, no, I decided to stay a little bit shorter with respect to the, let's say, normal deadline of my assignment. I have a family in Italy, and with this COVID situation, it became quite difficult to travel, to be together. So it's quite a painful decision that I had to take, but I think it's the right one. I go back and try to stay with them a little bit more. So that's very important for me, and it's at the first place, and the most important decision I can take, the most wise decision I can take.
Of course, but we do meet before you go.
Yeah, definitely. We'll organize a meeting.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Samrat.
Nice to see you, Indranil. Thank you for coming in and for your nice words. And also, of course, we're all a bit sad that Massimo will leave us soon. And it has been, always such a wonderful experience to be with him in meetings and traveling, and also getting his, his very, deep insight also to India, which he has been carrying with him for many years. I wanted to, see if Vivek would be available also to say something, because you have mentioned him so many times. And I think, Vivek, it's time also to return some compliments to Massimo.
Buongiorno, buongiorno. No, Massimo, it was fantastic to work with you. It was a memorable experience. I asked a few questions which he only attended to. Now 2 more are still left. What do you think? What is the unique quality in Indians that makes them so unique? And what the Italians should learn from the Indians? That is one. And the second one is, why on pizza to add a pineapple is illegal in Italy?
I wanted to say that I saved this for the last, actually, Vivek, this question, but it was you. It was you. Great. Okay.
I learned a lot from India and from Indians. Italy can learn a lot from India, from Indians. And I already spoke about the complexity of the Indian society. It's a magnificent example of integration among different cultures, cultural identities, religions, beliefs, approaches. I know there are problems, obviously, but still India is there. It's a big country, it survives, it develops, it looks with a lot of hope to the future. And this is something that in a moment of great tensions in Europe, because of these immigration waves, social problems, political tensions with the extremes, which are fighting more and more in a very, let's say, unpolite way. Well, we should learn from India that living together, being together, and living together and having a bright future as a perspective, it's possible. It's possible. This is the biggest lesson that we can learn. And I'm sorry if I'm too much philosophical, sociological. I'm not speaking about science, but this is what I feel from inside. And about pizza, I always tell this story. I was seated in one of the best pizza restaurants here in Delhi. And beside me, there was an Indian lady. And she ordered this magnificent pizza capricciosa. Capricciosa means with eggs and vegetables on top. So very rich pizza, rich with cheese, mozzarella cheese, magnificent pizza like this, cut into slices. And then she ordered a cappuccino. And she ate this pizza with the cappuccino along with the cappuccino. This is actually a sort of an illegal situation in Italy. Not illegal, obviously, it's not legal, such as something that only in India you can see. And no, pizza, you must have beer or you must have water, and cappuccino is actually, Samrat asked me about the breakfast. The cappuccino is for breakfast and pizza is for dinner, and they are totally separate. This is Italian identity. It's part of our culture.
Thank you. That's very important to know. Like, you know, the cappuccino would come, maybe the espresso would come after the pizza.
Espresso after the pizza, it's okay. Cappuccino after the pizza, forbidden.
Okay, good. So I'll keep that in mind when I see you next time. But Massimo, I can see that, you know, there is a strong longing of all your colleagues, you know, to see you. And I think now we're just waiting for Srini to take the plane and land in India and touch the ground. And then I think there should be a reunion.
Yes.
Right, Srini?
Absolutely. And we will start all over again. And I'm sure Massimo will join us at least once or twice. Yeah.
Sure.
He has no choice. He has no choice.
Yes. So one second, I can show one picture, not the most hilarious, but just a picture for our friends. I share the screen. I don't know whether you are allowed host disabled. Can you enable me?
I can make you the co-host.
The host.
Maybe that. Yeah. Then don't hijack it. Okay, now.
Capable, you know that. Yes. Yeah.
I know.
Yes. Yeah.
Is it possible? Yeah. Okay.
Are you seeing the screen?
Yes. Wonderful.
Yeah. These were beautiful memories. And here is that. You remember when I was trying to jump across? Yeah. And then, there was, I don't want to, this was beautiful while walking on this. It was fantastic. And then we went to the temple. And then, you remember all this?
Yeah.
Look at our friends, all are here. Yes. Yeah. Inger is here. And this was, waiting for that little car. Oh, it was awesome. Okay. Anyways, I'll not hijack for longer. Here is the yogi Inger.
Very nice.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice too. Thank you, Srini, for adding this.
I'll stop here. Yes. Otherwise, I have hundreds of pictures. Some other time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No, but it's nice to add this personal, like some images also to the vivid explanations of Massimo and also his travels with EU colleagues and So we are now coming to the end of our chai session with Massimo, and it was a great pleasure, Massimo. And I think also really enjoyed it, both a professional and on a personal level. And I think most of the colleagues also would agree on that. It was really fascinating and entertaining to listen to you, and very interesting to get your personal but also professional perspectives on India. And with that, I would close it, our chai session, and some have to go back to work. We still have maybe an hour and a half to do something, finish our mails for today. And but as I said, Mille grazie. It was a real pleasure, and we'll see each other very soon in person.
Thank you
Ciao,
very
grazie
much.
a voi.
Arrivederci. Thank you very much.
Arrivederci.
Yes.
Bye-bye, everyone. Bye. Thank
Ciao,
you for
ciao, ciao.
joining.
See you soon.
Bye. Thanks.
See you soon.
See you soon. Yeah. Bye-bye. Thank you.